Right, let's try that again. How's that working, boys?
Hey, it's much better.
Oh, do you know what it was? I think when I started the stream, I was in low power mode. So I've come back from Alton Towers. I think I've got 6 speeding tickets coming through the post just on that one alone.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
listen, it's the Audible. Welcome to the Audible, folks. Lock in your fantasy football teams. What a week it's been. For some, a little bit more interesting than others. First of all, let's go through it. Let's start it off. Lee, what have you been doing with your week?
As I mentioned earlier, so Sunday we had our first rookie taster sessions for adults and juniors. Turned out to be a really good session. We've got another one coming up this Sunday, so I've been busy sort of sorting that out. Got myself a new kitten as well. That's pretty cool.
Do you find it hard, like, to not kit up? Because,
Oh,
so for me, I've lost 5 stone now, so I'm not lineman weight. I don't want to be lineman weight again. I absolutely love playing on the line, love it, but I'm not old lineman weight no more. I've got one coach going, come play tight end, and then joking wide receiver, clearly not wide receiver weight, but it must be hard to just not get up and play, essentially.
yeah. I mean, it's always hard, isn't it, that transition from
Yeah,
sort of being a player to whatever you do next. For
yeah.
me, being a coach on the sideline was good enough for me. I'm still within the game, still get to watch it, still
Yeah.
get to get amongst it in training and stuff. Still get to hit people every now and then. So yeah, that's
It,
enough
it,
for me.
it's frowned upon. It's frowned upon sometimes. Steve, what have you been up to, mate? What's been going on with you, your end?
Yeah, it's been a relatively uneventful week, but again, as I said, went for a nice long bike ride on Sunday in the rain. And then on the halfway home, my bike decided that the front wheel wanted to snap, so I had to walk home for about 2 hours in the rain. But other than that, I've had a relatively uneventful week.
It's already kicking off. Lee's been giggling I can't say that over all week, or the Giants vs Broncos. We will get into that later, Coach Russ, because let's say it was absolute theatre. It was brilliant. Well, for me, I'd like to tell you all. I've been building my own forge. I've been forging swords. I've been on Kingdom Come 2. I've put about 400 hours into that game. What a bloody game. Do you know what? I've not been doing much. A few work. My work's quite chocker at the moment. And then watching football. What a week. What an absolute belter of a week. I mean, I'm sure we've all got our highlight of the week. I don't think anyone can look. I know I'm Mr. Broncos and all that, but that's got to be game of the week, game of the year. I'm in a few group chats and stuff, and people were trying to say, "Nah, this game was better," and I'm like, "In what way?" Like, it was absolutely brilliant. Listen, on that note, let's get into this. I think we've because we've got loads to go over. Let's get into week 7. We up for it?
Yeah,
We're up for it. Let's go.
Let's go for it. So, first game, shock, absolute shock. The Bengals against the Steelers. 100% of the public and all of us three back the Steelers. Of course, we're not going to back the Steelers, but the Bengals won 33-31. New QB in there, getting the job done. Listen. We all love a good comeback story. We all absolutely love a good comeback story. Can the Bengals turn this season around?
No.
You think no?
I
Okay.
don't think so. I think this is one of those situations we see quite often where a mature quarterback goes into a new squad, shows up, pulls off a good game, and then falls back off a cliff again.
Well, this Steelers team's a good team, mate. Like, I get where you're coming from, but this Steelers team has been very good this season. Lee, if you want to disagree with me, mate.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? No, I completely agree with what you're saying with the Steelers team. However, I think the Joe Flacco effect on a team, has just pulled this team from, having a possibly a 3-14 team to being probably an 8-7 or a 7-8 team. I don't think they're not playoff bound, but they're certainly going to be a lot more competitive than they were without.
do you think it's more like polishing it? Again, we try and keep the show PG, folks, but do you think it's more
lipstick on a pig? That's what it is.
I've not heard that one before.
Lipstick on a pig. It's making it nice and pretty, but at the end of the day, it's still a pig.
Sure, that's been said about me. Okay. I want to move on to the next one. I watched a lot of this game, and it really, because like I've been a bit of a, I've criticised the Jags quite a lot this season. The Jags against the Rams, we all back the Rams because the Jags are just too inconsistent. We've been saying this for how long? The Jags, 60% of the public back the Jags. Us three, being the experts that we are, we backed the Rams, and the Rams won 35-7. The Jags were absolutely awful. Like the pig lipstick on a pig's ass, whatever you just said. Then it was absolutely Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, yeah. I'm gonna go to Steve for some comments. Have you got any, Steve? You got any stats for me on this one? Apart from the fact that they were awful.
Bro, it's Brian Thomas Jr. is dropping passes more. He's dropped more passes this season than he did all of last season altogether.
Do you know what? If I was
the Jags' problem at the moment. But it's Stafford to Adams. It looked like Nakua had never been there all season, and all of a sudden Stafford's just got a new solid wide receiver to throw to.
Yeah, I mean, he's been quiet. Adams has been quiet all season, and now obviously Nakua's kind of taken a back seat and, taking the week off. Adams really did step up, and, it definitely showed in their game plan when they came into this that Adams was going to be the wide receiver one, and, Stafford really just put it on him.
I want to introduce a new. So we have game of the week. Yeah. What can we call something that is the worst performance of the week? A team.
The New York Jets.
The what?
The New York Jets.
No. We'll think of a name for it, but this was the third worst performance of the week for me. And Jags, unless they can get that consistency, they're not going to progress further, because how long is this QB going to get with that team? Do you know what I mean? And look, poor game, not great. For the Rams, if you're a Rams fan, it was a great experience. But all three of us got that one right. Let's move on to the next one, which Lee will absolutely love. Eagles back to winning ways. 78% of the public backed the Eagles to win, as well as Lee and his best mate Steve, who's a closet Eagles fan. I backed the Vikings, and I didn't do that out of spite. I did it because I thought Eagles were on a bit of a slump. But this was actually a really good game. I caught quite a fair bit of this. 28-22, one score game, close game compared to the last one. Lee, I'm going to come to you first, mate. What were your thoughts on this one?
So this was a great game to watch. To get into the deeper things. That game was won by Jalen Hurts. Almost a perfect QB.
And about time.
Absolutely. Finally, throwing the ball to AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. These two massively talented wide receivers finally getting some game time and finally getting some balls thrown their way, and they'll be able to they're able to make some magic. Obviously, there's still questions over Saquon Barkley and how they're going to plan getting him into the game, but I think every team is looking at the Eagles thinking, okay, well, if we can just shut down that run, then we can worry about the air. But I think the team's got. I think the Vikings underestimated how good Jalen Hurts is in the air, and I think they suffered for that. But credit to the Vikings that like you said, it was a one-score game. It was a really, really close game, and and it was a great watch. And we'll come to it later on, but I think the Vikings are going to have something special coming soon, and I think we'll get into that bit later on.
Okay, Steve.
If we cast our minds back to when we were doing our picks last week, I said that this game was going to depend on what Vikings defense turned up. I thought So you're not crazy to have picked them. And they did well. They came in with a game plan. Hold the Eagles, who's been running all season. They held them to 55 yards, but then sort of just really forgot about passing of any description. Jalen Hurts threw for 304 yards to receivers. That's his second most in his entire career. So
that's. I mean, yeah, that's good, but it was needed. Like that win was needed because this Eagles team, that was the last thing they needed, was getting beat 3 times in a row. They were always going to get beat by the Broncos. We always knew that. But last week, it was a bit, that for me, that was a bit of a shock. Good game, but let's move on to the next one because I want to talk a bit about this one. Next up, the Patriots beat the Titans 31-13. 90% of the public backed the Pats as well as all of us 3. Are we underlooking the Patriots here?
Mate, I've been saying it.
Now,
don't sleep on it.
I'd be really interested to see how far they get. I tell you what, if you'd have asked any Pats fan at the beginning, sorry, let me rephrase that. If you'd have asked any Pats fan who wasn't an absolute complete idiot at the beginning of the season, would you take this position there and now? They'd have snatched your hands for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Titans awful, but they've been awful all season. But it's there's a few scores there when you're that far ahead, even at this level. What I'm liking is you're seeing teams throwing in a backup QB or backup wide receivers to get them their minutes, to get them accustomed. You can't. I would say this when because I've never played Prem. I'm never good enough to play Prem, but I was good enough to play Div 1. Held my own in Div 1. I was obviously Div 2, but I'd get players who go, Matt, I've had an offer to go play for this Prem team or this other team, and I go, right, that's great, and I'm sure you're gonna be playing with really good players. But the only way you're gonna, one of the main ways you're gonna get better, not the only way, is by getting minutes. Recently, I had a player leave, go to another team. Should be sat on the bench. Sat on the bench. Come to the final, which we got beaten, and he was just as frustrated for me. He's like, I should never have left. So it's good that you see that these teams at this level still given, because obviously it's a big squad. Injuries are always going to happen. We're seeing them now. Teams suffering with injuries, teams getting better. You look at Chiefs; they've had so many players come back from injuries or suspensions for doing stupid things. But no, I'm a big fan of. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Pats, but I'm a big fan of what they're doing this season.
Yeah, I think that's Drake May. Like I said that a few weeks ago. Drake May is.
We got a little cat alert behind you, mate. Look at that,
yeah,
little,
mate.
yeah.
That's a little kitten, mate. He's
kitten on the camera. Kitten on the camera. For anyone on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Podcasts, I can confirm that the kitten is absolutely adorable. Oh my god, beautiful cat.
That is adorable.
Mrs. Side My Talks group chat will be going screenshot. Anyway, they don't like me at all. Steve, what were your thoughts on it, mate?
I thought spectacular O-line play from the Pats. I think that's what's created this win. Is led to great running, giving Drake May enough time on the ball. I will say someone needs to teach Drake May to slide, because one of his skills is his legs, but he's just running into people, and he's going to become the next Tua if he carries on doing stuff like that. Slide, lose a yard, you're fine. But also Cam Ward has fumbled second week in a row. He's fumbled 5 on the season. That's the most this season for a quarterback. How does a quarterback fumble 5 times?
That fumble was hilarious. It was almost like he forgot to throw the ball and just left it behind. It was absolutely hilarious.
This next one, I don't think we have much to say about it. The Jets got beat by the Panthers 13-6. For some reason, me and Lee, we'd had too many drinks and backed the Jets. Panthers won. It was painful to watch at best. It was absolutely awful. If ever there was an argument for a team to be relegated and a team to go up, this game proved it. I haven't got anything else to say. Has anyone got anything to add on?
I have absolutely nothing for it.
I picked the Jets in this game because I thought,
if
who
you were going to
could
win, this was the game you
Yeah,
were going to win.
this is it. This is the
Yeah.
game you're going to win. You know,
Yeah.
this is this is this. I mean, if they were playing the Titans, then that'd have been great. Because I think they may have had the chance to win that game. But it's the Panthers. They're still in the
I don't
sort
know,
of bottom
because
quarter.
I think haven't the Titans won a few games this season? Like,
Yeah, Titans have won one game.
Yeah.
One game, and the Panthers are now on what 3 games they've won now.
yeah.
So, but yeah, the Jets blew it.
FYI, by the way,
Jets blew it.
Panthers have won 2 games in a row. So, look, a win's a win. If they can build on that momentum, see what happens. Do you know what I mean? Right, let's go on to the next game. Right, FYI, by the way, second worst performance of the week was the Jets. The next one was the first. It was horrendous. It was the worst performance of the week for me. And that was the Dolphins. They were playing the Browns. The Browns won 31-6. 75% of the public backed the Browns, as well as me and Lee. Steve, for some reason, had too much to drink and backed the Dolphins. They are absolutely screwed. Like, that is... I think he took the QB off and put the third string QB in. Like...
Yeah.
In terms of the mental impact that's going to have on you as a player, they're screwed.
Yeah.
Steve, I'm going to come to you on this one, mate. Any stats? Because
they need to do something about Tua. They need to get rid of him. There's still time before the trade deadline. There's got to be someone they can pick up and do something with. But Tua is tied top interceptions. He threw 3 picks that game. I don't know how he's left in a game to do that. Really, you get 2 picks. Why would you give him another chance? One of the picks, by the way, happened whilst the red zone was showing a pick. But previously, he got the ball back, and whilst they were showing a highlight of the pick, he threw another pick.
Yeah, that was funny.
It's just like, how has this even happened?
do you know what? It was funny for anyone who wasn't a Dolphin fan.
It's probably funny for Dolphin fans at this point now.
Yeah,
like, at what point do you just give in and start laughing at it?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm asking the question: How has Mike McDaniel still got a job? How is he still employed by the Dolphins right now?
If you're a coach, do you really want to go right? So, do you really want to go into that team and try and fix it? How do you fix it? Because it's not just it's not the playing. There's enough stories going on about all the issues outside of, on training, the egos, people turning up late. Yeah, we've got a comment here from Coach Russ. Seems like Miami has just given up in the season. Given up on playing football.
I think the players have given up on the coach, and I think this is their sort of mini protest. They're not playing at 100%. The Eagles did it a couple of years ago when
you're getting you're getting paid an absolute fortune. How could you not be playing at your best? Playing the best sport in the world. I agree where you're coming from. There may be some sort of protest, but there's people who'd kill to be in that position. Like, it's absolute. If that was my team, if that was my team, I'd have hair like Lee.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree, mate. If that was the Eagles, I'd be absolutely livid right now. I mean, I was livid when the Eagles did it a couple of years ago. When they literally just tanked the last bit of the season and then got to the playoffs and then just got kicked, sort of booted out straight away in the first round. It was just they just gave up, and that's exactly what the Dolphins are doing now. And I think as soon as they get rid of McDaniels and as soon as they put a new interim head coach, they'll start winning again.
I think the 2 things I'd say. I would agree with the coaches thing, but like, at what point do you wonder if McDaniels has got something on the Dolphins owners? Because there's no way they're just keeping him around. And Tyreek Hill has been all over Twitter, absolutely just loving Rashee Rice and the Chiefs. So I was like, it's just showing where the ego of the Dolphins players are. Even he can't be bothered to focus on the Dolphins. He's focused on the Chiefs again.
But when you play at that level, though, like, there's big egos. Like, I've dealt with some stupid egos at Div 2 level, never mind Div 1. I've seen some of the egos in Prem chats. You want to see some of the group chats I've seen, mate. Like, absolute, some of the way I love the British American football scene. But some of the egos, like, give your head an absolute wobble. Look, on that note, let's move on from that because that was an awful game. The Bears against the Saints. The Saints didn't wear black, and what happens? They got beat. They wore their awful kit. 26-14. 70% of the public backed the Bears. I backed the Saints. What was I on? Oh,
I don't know. Mate.
um,
I don't know.
oh, mate, that's got to be a typo, that or something. Anyway, so yeah, the Bears won convincingly. The Saints. Just not been great. Lee, I'm going to go to you for this one. Can the Bears make the playoffs? Can it happen?
I mean, with that division, there's a possibility. You know, there's not too many teams who are, you know, competitive. They may make the, you know, the 7 seed as a wild card. But I mean, you know, it's you know, it's Ben Johnson, isn't it? You know, the new head coach, the offensive mastermind, QB whisperer, whatever you want to call him. He's obviously doing something right. You know, Caleb's not without his faults. He still, you know, he still throws the odd interception or makes the odd mistake. But he's still young. He's still a young QB. You know, if you look at, you know, even you know, the QBs that, you know, we, you know to love, you know, sort of Peyton Manning. You know, his first season in the NFL was absolutely god awful. He threw more interceptions than I think he did passes that year. It was, you know, it was unbelievable. But you know, we now look at him as, you know, one of the greatest that's ever played.
Definitely.
So yeah, to see what Caleb could do in the next few years to come under Ben Johnson, I think we should, you know, we should be in for a treat.
I think with anything like that, when you talk about like legacy and stuff, conditioning's such a good thing as well, because like in terms of sports science, it's never been as better as it has been now. Like you go back to like the 90s and 80s, all these athletes were smoking and doing this and doing that. There's none of that going on now. That's why you see like the likes of like with soccer, you've got like Ronaldo who's 40, who's still banging them in left, right, and centre. Steve, what can the Bears make the playoffs?
I don't know.
Steve, you've got £100. You've got to put a bet on. Will the Bears make the playoffs? Yay or nay? Go.
I'd probably take a punt that they would. And let me tell you why. They have the league highest takeaways on defense. They've got 16 takeaways. So if that defense carries on, that is enough.
Defense wins games.
That is enough to give a rookie quarterback enough chances to make it work. And they're leaning on rush as well. They're doing a lot of rushing, but this game as well. When do they start looking past Spencer Rattler? 3 picks and a lost fumble. Again, at what point do they start going, let's put someone else in, let's give someone else a go?
Yeah. Good points, mate. Good points. Right, we're going to move on to the next game. And this game made me laugh in so many ways possible, because whoever got beat, it made me smile. The Chiefs played the Raiders, and it was 31-0. 31-0. Absolutely awful. All 3 of us backed the Chiefs, as well as 96% of the public, and 4% of the public backed the Raiders.
What were they on?
Obvious Raiders fans. Obvious.
By the way, I did a Raiders count today. Obviously, it was at Alton Towers. How many Raiders caps do you think I've seen? And by the way, I had my Broncos like bobble hat on. So how many Raiders caps do you think we've seen? Go on.
Hey, people wear those hats not realizing
They don't even know what the team is.
Exactly.
It's like the band version of the Ramon shirt.
Yeah.
I've seen 14 people with like, and I looked at them to see like if, you know, a bit of eye contact. Oh yeah, you know, nothing. They haven't got a clue. Steve, I'm gonna come to you here, mate. Give us some stats. What was going on, mate?
Well, Chiefs had a great game. You know, Rashee Rice comes back, and we just show him what's going on. And I mean, we pulled Patrick Mahomes in the 3rd quarter, and then never threw another pass. We took a knee with 2 minutes 36 seconds on the clock. Raiders had 3 timeouts left. I can't even work out in my head how that mathematically makes any sense, but we're going to go with it. But my favourite stats, because my stats of the weeks aren't out yet, 31-0 against the Raiders. That is somehow the Chiefs' first regular season blowout in the Andy Reid era.
I'm going to let you read that comment.
4% Raiders fans are hip-hop stars.
If you live there, you get it. Honest to God. Come on, mate. Carry on.
And then my other favourite stat. So the Raiders only completed 3 first downs.
That's
This is the
shocking.
first time this has happened since 2008, when
And it was
the
them last
Raiders
time
only
they did it.
completed 3 first downs.
It was them who last did it in 2008 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Since 2008, no one's had that little, and then it goes again. That was my favourite, one of my favourite stats. I was actually laughing whilst making the stat of the week for that one.
Lee, I've got a question to ask you here, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Was this the Raiders were that poor? B, the Chiefs were that great, or C, the Chiefs were great and the Raiders were poor?
I think it's both. I think it's C. I think it's
Okay.
you know, I mean, looking at the offense, you know, that threat with Rishi Rice and Worthy. You know, those two sort of wide receivers, and obviously you've got Hollywood Brown in there and Juju Smith-Schuster. You know, they're able to stretch the field. You know, the DBs on the Raiders have got to be honest and man them, and whilst they're doing that, you got, you know, little old Travis Kelce's, you know, just loving life, picking up the middle of the field, going, "Hey, nobody's on me anymore. Everyone's now running downfield, looking after those star wide receivers," and he was just getting the ball left, right, and centre, just beasting it down the field. So, yeah, it's and offensively, they've got a lot better now. They've got their stars back. Raiders.
I don't see how you go in and fix that.
No. I mean, first of all, you start by, you know, sending the QB off in a trade somewhere. You try and get a half decent pick for him, and you literally just tank the rest of the season and rebuild it next year. I think there's no way you can come back from this season.
I think the problem with go on, mate.
I was going to say the problem with getting rid of Geno Smith is he has the exact same amount of interceptions as Tua, so no one's going to want him anyway. They're both tied top number 1, most interceptions in the league.
I think the problem you've got, right, is how many times has this conversation happened in the last few years? The way the NFL's draft system works, something should have changed, and it's not. So whether there's a deeper underlying problem, I don't know. But for Raiders fans, I really hope it carries on. Anyway, on to the next one. Chargers versus Colts. I thought this was going to be a great game, but Colts just owned it. I need to start backing the Colts more because they've been brilliant this season. Very lucky in that game against the Broncos, but I'm not still sore over that. It was 54 to 46% split vote in terms of favour of the Chargers. Myself and Lee backed the Chargers. Steve, with his facts and wisdom, backed the Colts. And Steve was right, as well as 46% of the public. Look, I've not got much to say in this. Both teams are very good. Colts turned up on the day, got the win. I think Colts will be in the playoffs. I think that's a guarantee. I think Chargers have got a great chance of doing the wild card. We've spoken about this before. I've not got anything else to say. Has anyone got
Yeah, for me, it's all about the O line. You know,
Yes.
you look at the Chargers O line. You know, they're on their fifth string, tackle.
Like freak injuries, by the way.
Fifth string, and then on the left tackle, it's their sixth string right left tackle. I mean, that's just. I mean, there's injuries and there's that.
I'll let someone read the comment because.
So Steve,
the rumor is true that Kansas City
to move to LV and leave Arrowhead. No, why?
No.
I mean, there is apparently one of the builders put a flag under that stadium in Raiders, and we have not lost since they did that. So it's in the foundation. Why not? But back to the Colts game. First off, I must have to remind you that this was the game that I had to make my girlfriend make a pick for me. And she is watching, so well done. Because
by the way, folks, I just like to clarify what Steve's doing is he's saying that he's actually got a girlfriend. So he's letting the whole of the Brit Bowl community know that he's got a girlfriend. So Steve, well
done. But I agree. I think it's time to start saying the Colts are good. They're averaging 32.1 points a game. At first I was saying Daniel Jones isn't very good, but apparently he actually is. But the Chargers, 2 interceptions from Herbert, but poor ball placement. I there, put a better cornerback on certain plays. That could have been 4, 5, 6 picks.
Yeah,
That was terrible. Like, they were completely out of sync. And it seems to be they went 3-0, got excited, and then forgot what they were doing.
I think next week's gonna be an interesting week with the football because there's a lot less games this week. So these bye weeks, this is when you're getting that rest in, you're readjusting, you're going over bits on the playbook. So I think next week's results you'll see a few shocks. Not next week, sorry, the week after.
The week after,
yeah. But no, for me, Colts brilliant, scoring high, lucky against the Broncos, but I'm still not sure over that. And talking about the Broncos, let's talk about it. I don't think anyone can disagree with me that this was actually the game of the week. Coach Russ will disagree with me, but he'll have to agree. This was
important too.
By the public. This was scored 50-50. Yes, you heard that correct. 50% of the public seeing wisdom and voted the Broncos. The other 50% just wanted to do my head in and voted the Giants. 33-32. In the fourth quarter, the Broncos hadn't scored a single point. Some people say this was the biggest comeback since Istanbul in terms of soccer. It was absolutely brilliant. Let's not talk about No, Coach Russ. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to enjoy this one. So, I'll tell you how I watched it. I watched it in bed. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm in bed for like 10 o'clock. But I stayed up, watched this game, and it was painful. Bo Nix, you were killing me, mate. It was like you were doing it on purpose. Let's get to the fourth quarter, not scoring, and let's win the game. So obviously, I seen that we scored one, and then they scored. I put, right, phone going down. And about 10 minutes later, I woke up, looked at my phone, was like, we've scored 2 touchdowns. Turned it on, and I seen the madness unfold. And then when they got their touchdown, I was like, that's it, it's over. Oh, hang on, we got a comment here. 1 minute. On Indy, Tyler Warren's impact can't be understated. It's a safety valve for Daniel Jones and also enough of a threat that Pittman isn't going to be a double covered every snap. Good point, mate. Really good point. Folks, please, by all means, post your comments. As long as they're not rude or offensive, we will read them out and post them. Yes, we don't post the rude and offensive ones. But going back to the game, it was a brilliant game to watch from a neutral. It had absolutely everything. And to say when that field goal went in the last second, my wife was asleep next to me. Yes, I'm married. If Steve's going to say he's got a girlfriend, I'll say I'm married. I was celebrating as quiet as I could, but moving as much as possible. But my dog was looking at me like, what are you doing? But absolutely brilliant. I don't think you two guys can disagree that this was game of the week. I can't wait to hear Steve's stats for this. I can't wait to hear how much he loves the Broncos from Lee. Broncos from me, fantastic. Steve, you're up.
I do think it is game of the week, but only if you watch it for the fourth quarter. The rest of it, the defense wasn't as good as it should be, and they were just picking you apart. And then, but the turnover was literally Dart's interception. That happened. Momentum changed. I don't know how momentum changes to 33 points in about 10 minutes. Is it the best comeback, or is it a massive Giants choke?
I agree. Best comeback. Lee, you're up, mate.
Oh, do you know what? I didn't see the end of this game.
Was you
I'm going to be honest.
Was you wearing your Giants top?
Huh?
Was you wearing your Giants top?
No, mate. No. I was just watching this, knowing that I backed the Giants last week, going, "Come on!" Entering the fourth quarter, I'm like, I'm off to bed. I'm going to get some sleep, and then I wake up the next morning to Coach Russ going, "Did you watch the game?"
I'll let you read this.
So, Coach Russ has already told me this. He was frantically messaging Mateo throughout the game, and it just turned on its head. It really Russ called me up and he's like, "Did you see the game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I watched it." And the Giants were up, and I was like, "Yeah, they've got to win that game." And he's like, "No, they didn't. They didn't win. How?"
What's their running back's name, by the way?
Scatterbo.
He is going to have the best 2-year career of his life. The way he runs in with his head, he's going to have dementia by the time he's 32.
He is. He just leads with his head. He is
Leaves with his
absolutely
head. It's like,
bonkers.
have you seen the Hobbit, where they have that ogre that runs into the wall with the brick on his wall and breaks his neck? He's gonna be like that. It was like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I love how he's mental and him in a QB have the thing go. And I'm really, I do want to say this. I'm really excited to see what they do this season. I think it's great that New York, as a team that's doing great, and one that's not doing so great, but it was a brilliant game. It was absolutely brilliant. It had absolutely everything. But no, Coach Russ, I fully enjoyed sending them messages. Brilliant. Let's move on.
I was going to say on the Scatterboo thing. I think I said it as well last week. If he's going to lead with his head, he needs to start getting fined because other players are getting fined for doing the same thing.
Best CTE candidate MVP win.
Hilarious.
Right.
But also, I've seen videos of when Scatterboo was in college when he used to put his helmet on and run up to a wall and just headbutt it a few times before he went into a game. How has he got a degree? If I have to remind everyone, by the way, to play American football, you have to pass college. How has he got a degree? What is it in?
Listen, mate, I played. I'll tell you a quick story. I played brick ball with a guy who couldn't really read that great, and he was a brilliant player. And we'd gone to town for a few drinks, and then we were putting our bets on and stuff. And I was like, back Frankie Dettori, back Frankie Dettori. Anyway, so we put a few bets on. We're going to the pub, and he went, Matt, look, Dettori won. It wasn't Dettori, it was bloody Detroit. Some of them can't read, mate. Never mind, get through a college degree. It's absolutely fine, mate. Don't worry. Right, we're still not on to week 2 and we're 40 minutes in, so we're just going to blitz over a few results. Cardinals versus Packers, the 8-0 Packers. They won. Packers won 27-23. I do think Packers are going to be in the playoffs. All three of us and 70% of the public back the Packers. Them boys, the Cowboys, they beat the Commanders very, very convincingly, by the way. I will say very, very convincingly, 44-22. Commanders didn't turn up that game. Myself and Steve, being the wise men that we are, picked the Cowboys. However, only 35% of the public backed the Cowboys. The San Francisco 49ers won 20-10. Wasn't really a great game, pretty boring game. Myself and Lee backed that one. And then I'm going to take some time in this one because this one for me was a bit of, considering how much we've been praising the Buccaneers. The Lions beat the Buccaneers 24-9. A lot of people's power rankings, the Buccaneers are up there at top. Myself and Steve back the Bucks. Of course, I'm going to back the Bucks. I am a Buck. Brilliant. You know, it wasn't a one-score game. The Buccaneers were way out of it. I didn't stay up and watch this one. I think at that point I was a bit still bedazzled by the Broncos. Lee, any comments on this one? Like, have we seen a chink in the armor of the Bucks, or is it just a one-off?
I mean, I think this was just. I don't think. It's not a one-off. I think the injury curse is loitering around. The Buccaneers team. They had Mike Evans for a bit, and then they lost him for a bit with a hamstring issue. Come back, had another hamstring issue, and then in this game, he gets walked off the field and carted off into the locker room with a broken clavicle and a concussion. It's just brutal. That he's been knocked out of this game and probably a few games for this season. Godwin, obviously, he's missing out on games with various injuries. I don't think he's playing this weekend, but he should be back. Hopefully after their bye week. But yeah, it's a tough one, and I think home field advantage played a massive part in this. With the home crowd going off, I think it's again, if this was in Tampa Bay, it may be in a different score.
Okay,
but yeah, very similar teams. Good
points. Steve, what were your thoughts on this one, mate?
Yeah, it's the early loss of Evans was a problem. Baker Mayfield finally had a good wide receiver back in the game, but broken clavicle. It's unfortunate because I really wanted to see him break Jerry Rice's streak of 1,000 receiving yards a season. He's not going to do that now. Egbuka still isn't 100%, so they're just running on what they've got. Jahmyr Gibbs is sort of what the Lions have playing at, and now everyone's saying you have to stop him. 218 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fine, stop Jahmyr Gibbs. They just put Montgomery back in. Like they've got a good running squad. I also think any sort of collaboration between me and Lee becomes a curse, because we both said last week there's a chance of Mayfield becoming MVP, and then he loses. And then we
Do not talk about Bo Nix, then you two are banned.
But we also noticed a few weeks ago that when we posted the Lee's power rankings, whereas I chose the quarterback to go on there, every single week after, that quarterback lost the game. So a connection between us, if we both collaborate on something, that is a curse.
Yep. I spotted that. I spotted that after the first game where we put Jordan Love on, and then the next game he loses and then draws against the Cowboys, and it's just like,
if I'm I'm a bit of a finger on that. If I'm sitting in a spot and my team's getting beat, I've got to move seats.
really,
That's my thing.
that's superstitious.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And when I played, if we didn't get beat, I wouldn't wash my gear. And then if we got beat, I'd wash my gear. The season I played for Holton Spartans and we got to the divisional final and we didn't get beat till we got to the final, my gear smelled like death. So everyone has their own hoodoos. Last game of the season was 27-19. The Seahawks won against the Texans. 63% of the public, and all three of us backed the Seahawks. And that's week 7. Brilliant week, would you say, gents?
Yeah,
I think
probably one of the best weeks so far, I think.
I definitely agree with you.
So I've got a question for you, Matteo. I mean, obviously we spoke about obviously our personal lives and our Britball careers and stuff. I mean, I'm interested to hear what's your sort of, the worst experience you've had within Britball.
Right, I'm going to give you 2. The first one is a funny one. The second one isn't funny. The first one was I was playing for Holton Spartans, and I can't remember the team we were playing against. I want to say Morecambe Bay Storm, and
Who?
It's a long time ago. And I was playing tackle, and my mate James Burtonwood was playing guard, and they didn't have anyone covering the centre. They kind of had someone covering the guard, and then their end was like 3 meters out, so I was backstepping quite a lot. It was a bit of, I think they were just trying something new, and it didn't work. But their tackle, who was going at our guard, was running at a 45-degree angle. So the first time he did it, James Burtonwood was like, "Are you an idiot? You're going to break your neck." The next play, the guy runs into James, his head sinks into his lid. We hear him, when someone dies in Star Wars and they go flying and they do like that scream? We heard that scream. Anyway, paramedics come on. He gets airlifted off. They had to cut off his pads. Luckily, he was fine. But looking back, it's absolutely hilarious, because imagine getting, and I think I've got a video on my phone when I was just started, and I've got my cap on, my Spartans cap, and I'm like, "Get to the chopper," and the chopper is lowering as I'm saying it. So that was the funny part. The worst part is the bullying. I've seen some toxic bullying, and I've still got screenshots from group chats that I was added in that could absolutely ruin people who are massive advocates for mental health, but clearly don't think of other people's mental health. I think bullying and since that happened, because it was me who happened to. I was only youngish at the time. If I see anything, if I get a whiff of it happening in any team that I'm involved in, I'll just go up and confront them. I don't have it. I don't stand for it. The people that did it, I'm going to use a swear word for this one. The shitty people, they always will be shitty people. And none of them have had the balls to come up and apologise since. And they've seen me. No, I say that one person did, but I think it was mainly because I collared them. But yeah, I mean, look, there's plenty of great things in Britball. For people in Britball, we want you on the show, by the way. Whether you're up north in Scotland, down south in the north, here, there, and everywhere, we want you on. Whether you're on Uniball, Adaball, come on, we want you on. Contact myself, Lee, or Steve. And also for all the bullies out there, go and rethink your life. Should we move on to week 8, boys?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, week 8. So Chargers versus the Vikings. For me, Chargers are hurting. So are the Vikings, but I'm backing the Chargers here. I'm going to go for the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a continuation of what I was saying earlier about the Vikings. I think that, they put on a good performance against the Eagles, and I think people are underrating them at the moment. I know they've had a few sketchy games. Obviously, Carson Wentz is still in at QB, but at the moment, the Chargers have still got that O line. I think there's rumors that Joe Alt may be back for this game, which massively improve, obviously, Justin's right side. But what about his left? His weak side. That's when you've got your sixth string left tackle in. It's just a recipe for disaster, and they can't win at home at the moment. Every home game that they've had, they seem to bottle it. And I'm personally going for the Vikings on this one. I think they've got this one in the bag.
Okay, Steve.
I think this is going to be a close game. It's a difficult one to call, and I think if the Vikings had JJ back, I probably would go there. But Carson Wentz has just been awful, and I don't know. I can't see the Chargers losing again. It's a bit of a question. But also my question before I give the answer is, how badly do you have to plan to have a sixth-string left tackle ready? They have to have known something was going to go on to have because you don't have that much depth on many other positions.
I will say this: if I was a six-string O lineman and I was getting that opportunity, I'd be doing anything. I'd be doing absolutely anything and everything, because I'm pretty sure Tom Brady wasn't the first-string QB, correct?
Nope.
No. As soon as you get that opportunity, you seize it. It's the same with Britball. If you're on the bench and if you're not really getting any reps, you get that rep and you do anything you can on the O line. You hit your guys hard as you can, and you make sure everyone's aware that guy's been hit. It is mental. I don't know how that they've prepped for it.
Well, I mean, obviously, every team, they have depth on the bench, so they would have, the second string left tackle, second string right tackle. But then, when you go to your third string, that's when you start going into your practice squads.
Yeah.
And by the time you're getting into your fourth string, that's when you're actually, you're going into sort of waiver wire. You're bringing people in who haven't been a part of that organization, who haven't gone through minicamp, and you are literally scraping the bucket and finding out what O line you have out there. And unfortunately, it's the ones that are free agents tend to be the ones that aren't very good.
Got a comment here. So many practice squad players are getting called up this season due to so many injuries. I think Steve made a good point about the injuries in terms of the pitch, the new standards of the pitches. I think that's obviously quite key to it. But that being said, from how the game's changed from the contact from 30 years ago, it's an interesting one. But I'm looking forward to this game. I think it'll be a good game. I want to do something here. I want to try something, boys. Next up, we've got the Falcons against the Dolphins. We're all going to say after 3 who we're picking. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Falcons. Yeah, we kind of missed up, but yeah. Falcons. Yeah. And on that one, we're going to move on because there's nothing else to say in that game. This one's interesting. He's back. Can the Ravens beat the Bears? He's back, is he not?
There's been no confirmation. He didn't practice Monday, and they're not sure if he was going to practice today. Then we're not sure.
I mean, until you get that confirmation, it's really hard to say. But
yeah,
if I'm going on the assumption that he's not going to be there, so I'm going to back the Bears.
Lamar Jackson returns to Ravens practice for first time since suffering hamstring injury 1 day ago.
There we go.
I am backing the Ravens.
Does that change anything for you, Lee? Or?
Listen, I tell you now, he wanted to play 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
he really wanted it. But
he's playing against a really good Bears defense.
I know, mate, but he's unreal and he's rapid. He's and they won't have rushed him back, because if they'd rushed him back, mate, they came 2-3 weeks ago. Easy.
I'm going to stick with my Bears. I'm going to stick with the Bears.
Coward. Okay. Steve, who did you pick?
I picked Ravens.
Okay.
I think it's about time. And now that we've got the confirmation, there's something about Derrick Henry doesn't seem to play very well without Lamar. Like it shouldn't matter who's passing you the ball if you're a rushing back, but there doesn't seem to be any connection if it's not Lamar. But if Lamar's back, yeah, let's do it. Ravens.
I think we can try this one again. We're gonna do this 1, 2, 3 thing again. Okay. Maybe I'm gonna try this. Next up, we've got the Bengals against the Jets. Are we all agreeing? 1, 2, 3. Bengals.
Bengals.
Yes. Although with a new QB, and if the Jets defense turn up, you never know. What was that? Was that a pig flying? No, Bengals will win. Okay. Next up, we got the Panthers against the Bills. The Panthers have won 2 games in a row. Can they make it 3 games in a row? No. Bills all day for me.
Bills all day. Bills all day.
Yeah.
I think it's been a great run. Been a great run for the Panthers. But you know,
one of my mates, Joe, and he's mad into he's mad into football. He plays for the Bucks. He coaches. I can't remember what's his team. He coaches a team in Wales. He's the most Welsh lad I've ever met, and he's such a sweetheart. And he's a Panthers fan, and I feel sorry for him. Joe, if you listen to this, much love, mate. I do feel sorry for you. Yeah. I can't disagree with you on this one, Lee. I think Bills will just be too good. I think Panthers will get these wins, grind out these wins against the poorer teams. But no, Bills for me in this one. Steve?
I have gone Bills, but I will also say, if we can work it out between us, do we know the teams that the Bills have lost to? The Bills have only beaten, starting with, what's that? The 106 Ravens, the 106 Saints. I think all of their wins are against teams that's got 1 or 2 wins now. So their records and how they've been playing isn't convincing because all they've done is beat terrible teams. I'm going for the Bills, mind, but
isn't that like the Jets? Not the Jets. Sorry, isn't that like the Chiefs though?
I mean, yeah, the Raiders. But
for anyone listening on a podcast, I'm pulling a very sarcastic face here. Okay, so we're all backing the Bills, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, the Texans against the 49ers. I don't know what version of the Texans are going to turn up, nor do I know what version of 49ers are going to turn up, because they've both been a bit hit and miss. But I'm going to back the 49ers. I don't know. For me, this could be a very good game if both teams turn up. But it's getting both teams to turn up. Steve, who are you backing here, mate?
Yeah, I agree. I have gone 49ers. And I will just also point out, because I forgot to say it and they haven't been pointing out, I like the 49ers have gone a 14-game streak without an interception, which is the most consecutive in NFL history. I kind of want to watch them now throw a pick next week for the laugh, but they're doing something right somewhere, clearly. But I'm going Niners.
Okay. Lee?
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy's back in this game as well. So, I think you've got George Kittle back. He was back in the last game, but he didn't really do much in the passing game. He did some really good blocks.
But yeah, he is essential, isn't he, to their rushing game? They can't seem to rush well without George Kittle in that line.
Yeah, and obviously Christian McCaffrey's he's lighting it up at the moment. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Mateo. I'm backing the Niners as well. This is should be a fairly simple win for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we've got the Patriots versus the Browns. I said before, I'm liking what the Patriots are doing this season. For me, it's the Patriots, the Browns, the Browns. So for me, Patriots. Lee, I'm going to go to you on this one.
Yeah, I've just had a quick peek at the Patriots sort of schedule for the next few games, and I think that they've got a fairly easy route to get into a wild card position here. I don't think they're going to top.
Mate, they'll finish top. They'll finish top.
You reckon?
Yeah,
I think
the top of the movement, mate. They're top by a few games.
Yeah, they are, but I think the Bills will claw it back. I think with, I mean, they've still got to play the Ravens. They've still got to play the Bills. The other easy games they've got 2 of the Jets games and another Dolphins game. So you're thinking about there's 3 wins quite easily. And with their current standings, I think they are. It's going to be close. I'd love to see them win that division, but I think the Bills will grab it right at the end, or it will come down to a face off, and whoever had the best score wins, which could be the Patriots because the Patriots beat the Bills at home.
Okay. Okay. Steve?
Yeah, I'm going Patriots. I mean,
Does it hurt to say that?
But it's yeah. I like their O line. I like their O line and their rushing play, and I think they are doing some good stuff.
Okay. Next one could be game of the week. Haven't you guys just played though? Eagles versus Giants.
2 weeks ago.
This is interesting.
It's on our home turf now, though.
So, are you and Coach Russ going to have another bet?
I've still got his jersey in my car, mate. I don't dare send it back to him.
I'll be honest. This game, I'm going to back the Eagles. I think that's a really tough loss to come back from the Giants last week when it got beat by the Denver Broncos. But for me, I'm going to back the Eagles. Eagles have found that form. Again, that was it was a good win for them last week. So yes, for the first time this year, I'm going to back the Eagles, and we have a comment from Coach Russ.
Of course he does. Of course he's got a comment. Of course he's going to chirp us.
Giants will slap the Eagles in mid-flight. That'll be interesting. Have you got anything to say in this, Lee? Who are you backing? Are you backing the Giants?
I think it's pretty obvious that I'm going to back the Eagles. The Giants, the way the Giants crumbled in that last quarter against their defense just buckled, and I think
for anyone who's better keep hold of that jersey.
Yeah, well, I'll if the Giants win, I'll be burning that jersey. Because I'm not wearing it next week. I'm not wearing it.
For anyone who's on next week, if the Giants win, you will see a jersey being burnt live 7:30 next week on the Audible. Catch us then. Steve, we're going to go to you, mate.
There's no way the Eagles let the Giants do the double over them within 3 weeks spread.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty confident, and now that the Eagles have remembered that they can throw the ball, they're going back to being a double threat offense, and that's harder to defend rather than just knowing they're going to rush almost every play. And as you said, it's a hard loss to come back from. There's going to be in their head a little bit, and don't forget, Jackson Dart and Scatterboot are only rookies. They are going to struggle with the mentality of that loss. They've not got the time.
With his 2-year career. Right, okay.
Oh, yeah, and just to top it off, we've got Brandon Graham coming back. The biggest trash talker that there is in the NFL has just returned to put them back in their place.
So Coach Russ is saying that you may as well buy it. It's going cheap. I will say this, by the way. Every team in Britball should have a trash talker. We had a trash talker. I can't remember his name, but he was hilarious. And it got to the point where the referee was like, "Look, he needs to shut up. He needs to shut up. He's doing my head in. I don't know what he's doing to this other team, but he needs to shut up." So get yourself a trash talker, teams.
The Cats used to have Russ Polson, who was our sort of trash talker, and he was great at that. But unfortunately, he moved back up north and joined the Yorkshire Rams, I think, last year. And
when I was playing, so let's say it was a run play and we've just run the ball 15 yards, I'd be like, you're an absolutely shh. Then when we scored a touchdown, I'd be the opposite. Okay, get head up, will you? Still half a game to play. Just like, they must be looking, who are you, mate? Just make your mind up what you want to be. Next one, we're going to do a 3-2-1 again. We've got the Saints against the Buccaneers. Will the Saints wear black? Will they win? Or will they wear the absolutely dreadful, awful kit? On Saints against Buccaneers, 1, 2, 3.
Buccaneers.
Easy. Move on to the next one. I think we can more like they do it on this. Yeah, we're going to do this on the next one as well because we know the result. Colts against the Titans. 1, 2, 3. Colts. Okay. Right. I don't think it's been game of the week. I think it's been a good game. The Denver Broncos are home against them boys, the Cowboys. Surely, maybe not stay, because we've spoken about irritating fan bases. Surely you want the Broncos to win here, Lee?
I'm because it's you. I'm backing the Cowboys.
Oh, you absolute scumbag! Do you know what? I hope the Giants win. I'm gonna go Vinted and I'm gonna order a jersey. I'm gonna FaceTime you when the Giants
Yeah,
spank you.
let's do it. I'll do the same thing when the Cowboys spank you.
Behave, mate. We're a fourth quarter team, mate. Even if we're getting beat 50-0, fourth quarter team. Stay, I'm
I
coming
thought
to
you
you,
were
mate.
offering an olive branch, and you're just like, nah, Cowboys anyway.
Nah, get rid of it.
Get your head up. Steve, who are you backing up here?
I've gone Broncos. The defense is good, but also if you remember, like I said last week, and it has repeated 7 weeks now, that Cowboys haven't had a repeated score. So they win last week. They're not going to repeat it. No one thinks they can. So
We've got a comment. Cowboys on the roll. No one cares. Go away. Right. Let's get into the next one. Oh yeah, hang on. I've got a great comment here. When I played nose tackle, I'd wait till O-line set them tell guard he's offside. When he moved, he flagged for false start. Always saved him for a fourth shot. Lucifer by name, Lucifer by nature. That is absolutely
fantastic.
brilliant. Honest to God. We
Bear down.
well, we played when I played the Crew Railroaders. We played a game and I tweaked my rotator cuff, and we used to play this guy called Mark Brunson. They call him Ace. He's like the Scouse version of John Coffey, but bigger and stronger. Anyway, he went, "You all right, Matt?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "I'll go one in your position." Now this poor D lineman, Mark's picked him up, ran with him while this guy's feet are kicking in the air. Mark's then thrown him like a rag doll. All 50 of our players are on the side laughing their head off. We've scored a touchdown because there was a gap made that big. It was, I can't even describe it, but honest to God, some of the stuff you see on O-line, I love O-line. How could you not want to play O-line? Right, so we've all backed the Bronco. No, actually, Lee's not. On to the next one. We've got the Steelers. Pretty sore after that loss against the 8-0 Packers, according to Steve. I'm going to back the Packers here. I'm gonna back the Packers. I've seen enough from the Packers. Look, every team's gonna have a wobble. We see it. But I'm gonna back the Packers. Steelers are hurting, quite rightly. They should be. More likely going to prove me wrong. But I'm gonna go to Lee. Who are you backing here? The Packers or the Steelers?
I think I'm going Steelers on this one. I think they're the home team, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think that's going to play an advantage in this, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to want to correct a ship, and he's going to want to,
I'll let you read that comment.
O-line, D-line banter, legendary.
But when we finish, we'll get a few O-line stories. Steve, you'll have to miss out on that one. Sorry, mate, you're too skinny. Okay, so you're back.
But yeah, I reckon it's Aaron Rodgers going to right the ship, and he's going to bring the win back.
Okay, Steve.
I think it's going to be a close game, and I think obviously Aaron Rodgers knows how the Packers work. So he should have an idea of how to beat them. But since I said they're going 8-0, I can't not pick them. So let's go with a 6-1-1 Packers, which has been 6-1-1 has been my thing for a few weeks now. So let's keep it going.
If this happens, mate, if this happens, kudos to you. Right, the last game is the Chiefs against the Commanders. I think this is the perfect game for the Chiefs. They've got wide receivers back. They've got players back against the Commanders that aren't very consistent. This is the game where they try them plays. They try them plays that they try. If they get in a stuck situation. I'm backing the Chiefs here. It hurts me. It hurts me a lot. But I'm backing the Chiefs. I would love to be. I would love to be wrong here. But yeah, for me, the Chiefs. I'm going to go to Lee first on this one. Steve will come to you last.
So I think Jaden Daniels left the game last week with an injury, and I think if he's not back in this game, I think he's playing through that injury, and I think that's going to have a massive effect. Marcus Mariota, just if he is starting this game, he still is trash, and I don't think he's going to pull it for them. So I'm going to back the Chiefs in this one. Steve, it's up to you.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is I'm pretty
on
sure.
You on that comment.
Who's winning the
pick so far? I don't know. Has anyone got the stats ready or?
we would like to announce, folks, that Steve just picked up a new job of seeing who's won, and he'll let us know next week.
Fair enough. I got the time. Yeah, James Daniels, I don't think will be playing. Marcus Mariota, he's played the Chiefs a lot, and he seems to always have a decent game against the Chiefs. I don't know where he pulls that from, so I'm relatively thinking there could be something going on. But yeah, obviously going to Chiefs. We've got our full offense ready. We've been pulling trick plays out. Did anyone see that play where we pretended to try and pull offside?
Hard
This
count.
never works.
Hard count. This never works.
Bang,
Ready, go.
pulled up a play. Like, we're just messing around on the ball, and that's what Chiefs ball is. And now that we've got our players that we can do that, and our defense is strong anyway, yeah, there's no question there. And I mean, I would never not pick the Chiefs, but I'm more confident now than I would have been week 2.
Okay. Well, folks, that's week 8. I think we saved the O-line, D-line stories for next week. Lucifer, make sure you're on next week. We'll open up with some O-line, D-line stories. In the next few weeks, I can confirm that we've got an ex-NFL player joining our podcast. What team is he from? He's from the Denver Broncos. More to come. That's been week 8. Thank you very much for joining us. We do apologise for being late on the little bit of technology issue that we had before. Gents, any nice plans for the weekend?
For me, I've got the rookie day coming up for the Cats again, so that's going to be an interesting one. Hopefully, see a load of new faces down there. But yeah, it's all good for me.
Steve?
Not much. I think I'm going to have to sit through and work out who's winning the picks. So that'll be fun. That'll be a nice day activity.
I want my crown. For me, I'm working. I've got a wedding on Sunday with one of my old Chester O-linemen. I'm looking forward to seeing him progress in life and get married. Just a quick one, folks. We obviously we want everyone who watches this, if they've got the time to join the team. You can go to the BAFA website, and it pains me to say that, and see who your local team is. If anyone's got any questions at all, I'm sure all 3 of us would entertain a message. For me, it's the greatest sport in the world. I had a comment posted on my social media: "Are you not bothered about Liverpool getting beat?" Of course I am, but when it's the Denver Broncos, that's when it turns into a tantrum. So that's been week 8. This has been the Audible. Thank you very much. I've been Matteo.
I've been Lee.
And I've been Steve.
And we do it again. Listen, thank you very much, folks. We will see you next week, 7:30. Hopefully, we won't be late. Hopefully, I won't be out on towers again because I can't be bothered doing 16,000 steps. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
See you later.
Any minute, it's going to click end stream.